year before last year, organizational reports don't come out. There are some social media reporting about audit reports, audits, findings, just to explain and they break down for people waiting you see from the audit reports and from your perspective as looking through government responsible for coordinating the delivery performance, waiting at the what may you take away from the audit reports and waiting which you try for things say this year we address when it comes to audits recommendations.
I think the biggest challenge audit now is digitization. So if you think about now we're on there, then somebody comes to you next week and say, Minister Bar, that press conference, how much then they allocate for him, say 1,000 euros. Then we see breakdowns, we say for buy one time for the design. So what the receipts then for the invoice? Then so say you count 2 invoices. They say, well, you get 3 invoices. They say, well, the other one we did like we are I don't know side this just small. They say, okay, we'll come back next week. Without audit the right, they say at the time the information on this, you know. And then you go cancel, then you don't have a panic, you know, with it, then they go further. Then they cancel. You say you got all this thing for don't do buy why you be done there. Then when they come, they say, okay, I need the invoice, this is the 3rd invoice. And then they say, okay, we don't check out the 3rd invoice. Or okay, they say we check out, but that 3rd invoice in the chair. And so we do inconclusive. And then they put down the as the final recommendation. If you look through the audits, a lot of these things where they ask for information the first time, people don't really get time. Then they will come back, then the information they did. It really just requires digitization and proper finding. And if we don't file, if we don't digitize it, then people therefore establish files. So in me, for instance, I talk to me the PS and finance officer and all man say this cannot happen, it cannot keep happening. It's your responsibility to put all of these things in order. And the challenge really to MDA then that you responsibility for file. For you sit anyway, forget audit in full transparency. And I think one of the things that I want to encourage people to do that I made them digitize. If you don't get scanned, you phone a computer. The kind computer power with your phone there. They don't be there 10, 15 years ago, but then the laptop they said what it is. So if you get this powerful computer, you're not going to let me say, oh, you want scanner. Because you will download the app with the scan. You take a use the app, you scan and you move forward. So we have to create better systems with government and
See, I'm not appreciating on quick. You are the Chief Innovation Officer for government. This has been your responsibility for 7 years for transition this country to a more digital. It's something that, as we know, other experts multiple times. It frustrates me and it frustrates my colleagues. Since to date, if I want anything done at Ministry of Finance, I left you building. Then they can paper to me aside, then get the paper go na finance, then pass up for 1% na finance. Why we know transition it fully? I know say some here they will not do. Why we not transition it fully on digitization and what else we can do on that area?
So now a really important question. If you think about human behavior, a lot of things are just human behavior. Because like I say, you get computer now. It's in way they already then the scan that for me front office with their phone, then they send that to me. So largely everything digitized for me. But for many other people, then even though we digitize it, they can't see that extra thing that they or really foreign. So that human behavior. ACC now 100% declaration with an important thing online declaration. Plenty other things that we require license with the STI and Ministry of Communication don't help people there for digitize. So it is not a fully digitized government system, but there are many things that are digitized. Even land, the National Land Commission, Ministry of Lands gets digitization projects, and that goes through the Ghana Ministry of Lands on processes is digitized, and then the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources digitized. So it happened. It just not the at the rate for procurement officer.
Yeah, and I did they give me as well. I did work for Central that gave me as well. But okay, let me move now to some favorite topic, tripartite, national unity agreement. Now you don't the is extensively on charge with the responsibility of leading that process. Reflect for you on 2025 with the national unity agreement. So we did.
The tripartite agreement, which stem out of the agreement for national unity, now an important document because President Bill decides every time we get election, people that complain for things that we all know so we never complain about. But nobody really don't get our minds there for saying, okay, we're more changing. Because all man can always be say that for data power, and die. We know say we as a government need for data power to transform the country. But that doesn't mean say we therefore change the law to something way more just or way more equitable or way more inclusive. And that the idea will make President Bill more will do this. And then it came down to we agree on the recommendation, the 80 plus recommendations. And the AG, so that we begin implementing. The AG's office work with we then for extract, wasn't that the tripartite report, and wasn't that the constitutional review committee, we linked to elections. And the reason we make one for do that day, because no one for which stage 2027, the man begin halal, then the people start thinking. Because the only thing we they remember now on a ballot, then they stop for thinking critically. So we want to create that distance thing. And best practice, like you have to change election law too close to an election. So we decide to constitutional review don't go on for 20 years. Tripartite major elements of it now on election. So the AG take the critical constitutional review, critical tripartite report related to elections. We take and go to cabinet, and cabinet take them as they are, and we send them go, we gazette them, people that say, oh, they don't leak, not to leak, are public documents. Anything within that gazette are public documents. We don't pass secret shumu shumu. So the AG's office can go due diligence, put on a gazette, and then gazette, we take that gazetted copy, and the gazette copy that for citizens, knowledge, transparency, for make no one self engage, for make no one call una MP there. One thing we know they do, when you select member of parliament and then left hand, the only thing when you call her for say you know well. But you need for call the member of parliament for say one law the way as in a gazette with the parliament. Now this night I think as a citizen. So now we responsibility as citizens, as civil society, as media, for giving an opinion on them thing they know like gazette and give to a member of parliament. Because a member of parliament now you people determine that that's not president, you not to me, we don't do our part as executive and we don't send it to parliament. So where we are is we get the then law there, we don't develop with they go now to parliament with the age they would discuss na parliament. Um, Everybody been talk about the functional management review of ECSL, like that, big deal. In the first quarter of the year, we do that. Not exactly the way they had. From what they inform net, then turn and I mean net force going on ECSL, the baby on that same before. INEC. Okay, so net, INEC, under the INEC force. So INEC, so net, so ECSL. One day nobody will do functional management review from what they established. Imagine in 1996, the election that we have in 96, 90 happened today. The solution was different. You get more time than we did it from the one and the system that we do. So the importance that we do that functional management review, and we did with an independent body paid for by the Americans and a public sector reform. And I remember places where they say, some man they say, oh, you don't do that day. Other one they say, oh, yeah, we give for doing our independence. And we said, okay, great, we'll do it independent. And we did, and we discussed and with everybody. A lot of misinformation can be from some of we party from other parties, from a particular party. They can say, oh, you know, they're not to meet, where can they discuss this? Or for tell citizens they say, We met every quarter as a steering committee. We met every quarter. The technical function is a steering committee, not the steering, the technical committee of the tripartite. And they work every day, and then they plan every meeting with anybody, then they meet. Sometimes we people that don't want to be accountable to the citizens, that's I guess I get delayed. So you like can blame me. So that me they can blame, say, that me they call me, but that's my role, really to coordinate governance across everybody. So on the tripartite, technically, people that know they will major impact. Now that today, we Parliament open this week, next week, the AG, they're ready for table the constitutional review document related to elections.
Wonderful. So then a big news. The law reform we AG for bring to Parliament, the one that we don't require a referendum, the one that we just require amendments the way Parliament can do. The AG don't do that work there. Thanks directly to the work we National Unity Agreement and tripartite to the recommendations. And pull over and they separate, we don't do that anything, they go to Parliament. The work on the bigger constitutional review, the CMT don't take over 20 years. The AG also don't advance that work there. We don't make clear, say, constitutional review committee, no, the committees that we don't end from Cavan, they don't do white papers and recommendations. The AG office, they now finalize and consolidate for bring and come. And the provision right now, the proposal that we will, one, the process will go through Parliament, and the second one, we also don't go through Parliament, but we will require for change and strange clauses that will be get for get a referendum. We will come to the people that can approve that constitution, they will essentially go be the new constitution for Salon. All that process did happen, and they'll make big progress because of the work the government don't do and the leadership where the chief minister don't play that role on the National Unity Agreement. So I want to take a minute for acknowledge, say we get to colleagues in Aya, the Minister for Public Political Affairs, Mr. Aman Kalondea, the Minister for Social Welfare, Madam Melrose Kamiti, the Deputy Minister for Technical and Higher Education, Dictator Sajo Aziz Kamaya. And there, so we come to the question, I think the same we ask the colleague, and the one they wait for the iron for camp. So in case question, the way it go turn to them. So we'll get more opportunity for engage Minister today. I want to transition now to 2026. President Bill declare year of action. This year, I want to let you, and we recently see by the way the retreat where you been there, the high table next to His Excellency, we talk about delivery action. I want to help for paint the picture for the people of this country, what they therefore expect from governments in 2026. Waiting at the major areas they would therefore expect accelerated action.
Number one, again, all man for reading National Development Plan. The most important thing that I will stick to the plan. 2026, all the things that we say we do one. But specifically, infrastructure. I want to say this because people then can feel say, we actually talk to there, I can just go on my head. I like data. They can call me data man because that's really what I do. Wait until data. For 11 years, the APC government and its like Promar government, the former president, then they say they're rules in the make. For 11 years, before 2028, they make 432 kilometers of road. For 2018, before 2018, for 11 years, with the government, they make 432 kilometers. And with having roads, they bring them to Kailan. Before we carry 2.5 kilometers. We do 25 kilometers after that, inside 7 years. By Najuma, Mana River Union, then we don't do 10 kilometers. Woka, we do 95 kilometers. Wellington, Mashika, widening, took Lumley, then we don't do 14, we do additional 4.3, and then 2024. Oh, these are like 2023, by the way. So, might just put that into context. Before.
Annually means for give the big number.
Yeah.
APC in the entire 11 years,
432.
Waiting we don't do in 7 years.
In 7 years, we don't do. I do my quick hand here. 442 kilometers now do.
Brilliant. So APC spent 11 years. Then signature, they say this when they did chest, they say when we pass 14. Now road inside 11 years, total road bill in this country 432. Plus the bill in a chest for road, in a chest education, human capital, other thing. Inside less than 7 years, because of society data, if you add up 2025, inside that 7 years day, President Bill more than APC did per road in the entire 11 years. Now, if you quote this, you get the data, we get the number, then we share with you the road there, you quote and maybe the measure.
Quote and say 442 kilometers of road done in 7 years by President Bill compared to 432. And then road they did a day. Not to say no day. I mentioned Pendembu Kailang, Hill Court Bypass, Lumley Tuke, Kailang Boedu, Makulu, Makulu Junction, Koblo Gulama, then Boku. And then sometimes they say, oh, you just don't go include the road then. We would have now what they do. No, but like the Stefano road, we are 50 kilometers, we they do. All they do that. Oh, did it? Now, or post up, and you can see beside them where the road them in there during that time there. As an example, the rehabilitation of 6.5 kilometers of roads in Kenema for the 11 years and 1 kilometer then, where we can do about 6 kilometers and beyond. Each one of them roads there, they not so secret. But we're not happening. We don't decide say infrastructure really important for you. So one of the priority areas for 2026 that infrastructure. We don't open two bridge. We on them. These are bridge crossings where the ferry be leading from where they make some independence from border that people in die from. Um, over the last couple of years, we done two. Inside this 2026, we open two more. Then we start the procurement for another four more. And then in terms of roads, one of the things that we will focus on, we don't do the Kabalan Limbaya Sinfonia Road, and we want to continue take the Calabar. If God brings, so to pay money for Gumogo. We also get plenty road there that Freetown we want to focus on. One another Macaulay Street, High Broad Street Road, Ogona Seabird Grammar School. Yes. And we focus on that a lot. A lot of people they don't complain, but the McKinney Hospital Road, that road we are one of the priority roads with it. We don't talk a lot about the Banneker Bridge at Kamakui. We noted we got a priority there, St. Michael's Road and Locust, and we don't see plenty. So we get the prioritization when we don't do right across the country. The area where I mentioned McKinney, McQueen, Riverston area, and all of that priority for me. Although the road made Kedemazimi, priority for look for new ways of financing. Each one of them they cost upwards of $70 million to $150 million because of this and governments they look at ways in which we yes use government money but also find partners for this. Other thing way we dey focus on this year na market infrastructure. You know anybody online you see all which of them are running today, they just dey outside. Glasses now are salon and near the Gotti box late today. Even though the one side of Kuka is doing it, but not today today. His Excellency, Ministry of Agriculture, and partner and they work on waiting to do for their market infrastructure. There. So major infrastructure projects than the very important infrastructure project with the host ECOWAS this year. And we get to see infrastructure development where we lead up to that. I mean, too many conferences and I know more get and the only place that we get to host. Um, we want for a show and I say we do what we do for expand hosting our infrastructure that's alone this year. If you go to the agriculture, people they can talk about Tomabone, Tomabone, Tomabone. Tomabone, a big area. No Tomabone, not the ones one dot. Already we got private sector in Tomabone. Today. Even when they grow rest at Tomabone. So they can say, I want to eat Tomabone rest. They eat as they don't see like that. You know right spanner, you know the taste different, you know right spanner, the rest of the rest of Tomabone.
And the same taste again.
And the same taste again. So they eat and so then they say I want Tomabone. And I know say, well, as an example, we get plenty bag of rice waiting to private sector today, but the minister continue for expand on the irrigation. They do irrigation, they look for private sector, where they campaign. So we go on Tonago and go on that period and they seek for about 2,000 hectares of irrigation where they will start with Donald. And Spain, the need for start the one that will mechanization, an important thing. One thing the government will do as well for support private sector. So we don't create new instruments and we allow private sector for go take money at very reduced rates. We begin paying back in take time. We may invest. So we get plenty of young people when they don't take machinery, they take money, they buy machine then, but we got people that use them. So they engage on that, they continue to work on that. Um, we build more storage facility, the agricultural bank will be still be established and then profit salary.
So they expect the establishment of a new agriculture bank.
That's our objective and our goal is that we do that. If you look at exports, we look for exports many more produce. The ministry they expand egg production. They still want one child per egg. The pilot time but I mean, for now, the number of eggs is still the equals egg that's available because we know don't need to not reach that capacity. So the ministry look for increase more onion production, rice production, we need for increase the land and cultivation. And then the ministry also they do um for feeder roads and the plan for rehabilitate about 1,000 kilometers of feeder roads by end of 2026. And then project that we do another 400. That 400 and something that we mentioned, and we look to feeder road. In addition to that, we go with another 400 and something kilometers of feeder road rehabilitation. We on school feeding, we expand school feeding on human concern development. It's about mortality, we only continue for a user. We don't stop right now speaking for the ministry. They look for even further reduce that the social protection, government, the plan. We don't increase minimum wage by over 50%. So you want minimum wage now, they buy for two bags as an example. For strategy, they look and say, I wish I minimum wage, you buy one bag, listen.
Now they say buy less, no get transport.
Well,
So that's some return already. So now we don't buy less to now, in order for you to get transport safe now. It's good. The ambitions keep going higher, which is good. I think we welcome it.
Exactly. The goal of government and to make sure that all my needs can go. So if I maybe buy one bag, it's like you buy one bag or two bags. Or maybe you buy one bag, then you buy your basket, you pay transport. Then you not to buy two bags. But that's a good thing that will continue to increase living standards on social protection. One of the biggest things that Yeri Benina Moyamba, His Excellency, mentioned and the Ministry of Labor. One of the biggest impacts, and we governments that police are passing.
I don't know they say deliver and you say people enemies one. What do you mean by will deliver? But in your explanation, you say it means he will deliver by 2039, which means President Biolo in power that time. But if you go back during Bakabari days, there was a blueprint document that was called Vision 2025. And in this same hall, the previous government didn't get what we call National Development Conference with a whole liar. But when then come 2007, a kick out is on 2025. So which assurance we will give the people of Sierra Leone if we deliver the next government will kick them out.
I've got a woman on my hand for the missing plan. And what the things are the tours you to this year. I just say, go on. Go ahead.
Chief Minister, Mohamed Kumara, the watch and the tell us something about international operation. Tell me something about the administration, diplomatic expansionism, and how companies, the donors they get for push to the economy. Chief Minister, for one who know if at all the cabinet recommendations leading to parliament and approved, in case any either political party, the otherwise, there is some disciplinary measures as to ban that particular party for taking part in election. Thank you.
You understand the second question? Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chief Minister, 2024 audit report, most of the MDs of government have been implemented, and most of the MDs are made in that report. And your office is the office which oversees those ministries. Now, Mr. Chief Minister, what are you going to do so that by the next audit report, which will be having, that mistake will not be made? They will definitely give proper financial reports so that they will not go back and forward. Because immediately the Auditor General go to the Accountant General's department and got that message, they start their work. I want to ask you, what will you do?
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Over to the lady now. Over there. Yes.
Hello, good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, Chief Minister. My name is Alimatu Kabo, reporting for Vantage Newspaper. You talk about the audit report, and yesterday, myself and one of my colleagues, maybe they reviewed the report wherein we see a certain bank taking loan without any collateral. Now, my question is based on the
You
performance.
can't get me.
Yes, sure.
Oh.
Silent commercial bank. The question are based on the performance ranking table. I want to know which ministries will do well or left behind on this PPT and waiting at the specific action I don't take for address this gap. Thank you.
All right, final question for this the gentleman there.
Yes, meaning Senator Bila rights for exclusive. The SO state-owned enterprises only perform poorly since I was born. And notably, Senator, Southwark, South Post, State Lottery, among others. They were only perform poorly. They considered for privatize some of the state-owned enterprises so that they could actually meet the competition really now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. CM, what's in by the deliver And the brother in your news will need to be that till 2039. Although it starts or it talk about delivery, say the first delivery already that Remembrance Day, 24 years ago, we already delivered that door. So that brings the day, diplomatic expansionism, donor confidence, tripartite for legislator, MD performance and audit reports, which will be done for avoid bad performances of salary commercial loans without collateral. Ministers they do well, see and what will they do, whether they consider or the states they consider for privatizing. That's what it is. But
We will deliver the mentality. Where I sleep the letter, where we say that the 16, deliver, I will deliver. On anything I put my mind to and commit to, I will deliver. As a nation, as young people, as women, as elders, we will deliver on anything that we say we do. That's number one. So we have to say we will deliver together. Our make we're all Salon man. If a believer, Salon never win Nations Cup, we will deliver. Salon never win World Cup, we will deliver. Not to tomorrow Salon win World Cup. But for make Salon win World Cup in 10 years or in 15 years, Salon need for begin play na zone 2 and win zone 2. We woman and then win waffle. We have delivered it. We delivered it. But then we woman and then AFCON next year, we then go because they win waffle. And those they go winner. We will deliver on that. Like mentality. We if you area no more any side, by the way, I can pass the street, there young man, there people that we that junction, they just said we will deliver. But that day I want hearing. Then beliefs is salon will rise. In America, they call it the American dream, maybe. Then beliefs say they as individuals, they can do it. Will Obama say yes we can? Obama, say yes we can, meaning say no, they can't do. It just say we can deliver ABC. So if you left to me, with all of them, you sleep at every day, I can just grab and put me to deliver. Because all they became the leader will believe that. Now, when it comes down to the most important thing that our nation has is the National Development Plan. And there's only one vision in the National Development Plan. It is that by 2039, Sierra Leone will be an inclusive, green, middle-income country. Inclusive, we get how they measure it. Green, we get how they measure it. Middle income, we get how they measure it. Today, Sierra Leone is not a middle-income country. Sierra Leone is not a green country. But by 2039, we will deliver an inclusive, green, middle-income country. And why? Because we delivered yesterday on our responsibilities in Golden Forest. We go UNESCO and Golden Forest and TY, they identify as a World Heritage. We delivered on it. We will deliver on being a green income country, middle income country, because Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Environment, they have a green strategy, a green finance strategy. We will deliver on that. Does that make sense? The question you ask is really important. Every country, yesterday there's one guy we can do commentary past football. Then they analyze why make Senegal in the first cup 210 inside the last couple of years. And it puts out say 15 years ago, Senegal didn't get his vision for 2020 or whatever. And then they update that vision day to something else. And then so same with like the Millennium Development Goals, like in 2015. So Millennium Development Goals, transition to Sustainable Development Goals. I don't know which level color again, but it needs to move forward. So we always are modifying our goals based on the side we did. But I want to assure you, say, that next government, the way we reform inside 2028, will continue to develop on that 20 that vision we President Bill said. Will they continue that way? Yeah, not for it. They deliver on that goal there. it really is important on our diplomatic and donor. You know, just we have a strong um, president. President Bill de Davos today, and at Davos is having lots of engagements. Will be the Guinea for the inauguration. He had lots of engagements as ECOWAS chair. He continues to lead on these major strategic engagements. I want to assure you, say, every partner, they consult with His Excellency at every level on everything. And locally, we just get the EU Government Australia dialogue in December and with a couple of ministries. And we get direct relations with China, US. We're actively engaging. And the biggest indicator of donor confidence, there are school sets, there's some people that they don't understand how IMF and World Bank they work. So for some people, then maybe we study economics inside 1980 or 1987, or they get a view of IMF. IMF, the kind of they tell you that say structural adjustment policy, yes or never, otherwise you die. Any privatize, we need to privatize. Maybe they happen on the side, but inside it only happens. So we sit down, we look at everything. We all said we said that we all go school. The same people that we sit down, if you see me self, so they know if we see me, it's tremble for us because it is happy me without people. And this is true. And then the study that you can see the opposite. Um, we deepen the extended credit facility program because we get strong confidence from the DFI level. On tripartite, everything we go to parliament, na law. So we don't get that fear there. As long as the recommendation they go to parliament as they are, when they become law, they will be implemented immediately. Some of them maybe will have dates attached to it. But the constitutional changes that will happen now will become immediately implemented. On financial management, I wouldn't say there was some generalization, but audits are important. No country, they do audits reports, they fall foul because audit is both measuring process and the final outcome. And often, like I can say, it easy, I guess, story. So we are besides here, the left private sector and the kinds of government. One me pali in the work Mexico City, like the mayor office. Say, you sure see one government? I say yes, I go. I say the ones where they want you because you that programmer, you just the do thing they know more how you do one. It's a be like follow every process, yeah. It's a process the boring you will follow them. It is because often, okay, Office of the Chief Minister, then they put headline and say money loss. Me job now for coordinate the green belt and all my because it's public. And His Excellency, we also want to protect the environment because people when they go, then they see land, then they begin build, then they do whatever. So what we need for do? We get military for go and broke because no one problem. And one man military then did it for months. My office, because this military don't get that money there. So military and all man good which they need for them. And then we give money for say military, okay, when I go buy fuel or when I go for go take care of the soldier man, then we did it. They just did it because how long? Yes, you want to make better soldier man make out invoice or make out receipts for the pap that we buy. I want to let the pap seller get receipt. But we don't say not to all send pap seller they get receipt or they give invoice for the people that we did it. It doesn't mean that the work not done. No. All man belongs in military, they did it for months. They did it, the picture they did it, video they did, they broke the hostel, we then did. So military not thief the money, or chief minister office not thief the money. The work happened. But yes, process-wise, when the audit for they say, well, I don't see this invoice here for this 800,000 we did it. That's their job, that's their function. The point they're within, now that we should be able to have that conversation and not run a headline that says chief minister don't see 800,000, because that's not true and that's not helpful for development. But I agree with you that we need to get better. And there are two things that always happen with audit. The Auditor General, the lay and the Parliament, and Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, they go through each and every one of these and recover the money that we actually lost. Decide that we money not lost, then go right, say we'll do better next time. Anti-corruption as well, they take them up. And if money lost, then go take them up. And then they do the liquidity. So Parliament, anti-corruption, and yes, they put on a performance tracking for make sure say and His Excellency will know say that ministry that may implement what he need for implement. Banks without collateral liberty, the Ministry of Finance I used to advise the bank actually through BSL. So Bank of Sierra Leone, right, and review entity, Ministry of Finance that used to supervise Bank of Sierra Leone. So they will take control of those things.
Important to just say that Bank of the Salon Commercial Bank overall numbers are very good as a bank for performance, and also that the need for maintaining certain standards for the abide by the rules the way the central bank is set and all that.
And they have
And overall, let they above all that. So
they have all.
exactly, the bank also gets a governance board who they review the things. So if you just take one to tell, there is like an indication, say maybe again might be a question of paper, what could be there on the collateral or something like that. But it's important for also engage the bank directly, something that we will engage on this.
And by the way, this is something that I don't think it applies here for us to note. Collaterals as we have them exclude many people, many women, many people in the informal sector cannot get access to certain loans, and we want to change it. And so if we just go strictly by waiting indeed by the law, often we're excluding people. Final question was on SOE. Tyler, the day that we review, that we strategic engagement with President Bill, I need to know how you know. But one of the mandates when His Excellency gave me one of the tasks that you remember me because I don't call that meeting day, His Excellency direct say all the SOE listed with it. And then the bill, there's an SOE bill that has been in the drafting for a long time, and he mandated that we complete that. So it's not like that we fly that the strategic meeting will get with His Excellency because
we also investigate you.
Exactly, because this is the last directive that we give me, say I will go implement. So that we put it at the performance tracking. So we don't the SOE bill here.
Same song. Your direct question actually speaking of your performance tracking. You they track real performance, whether they track your performance. And I then they ask this now maybe it's important that we
They pick the president and the vice president, they supervise you. But I like to say the best people with tracking performance are the people, you people. But one of the things about SOEs is not just privatization. There are joint ventures. There are other things that we can do. There are other managements. And this because I know it's an important thing for His Excellency and it's linked to public administration. His Excellency has asked us to pay closer attention to who goes on the boards of this because today just easy. One me on cool day, not putting one board number, or me and me on cool on that board. But next, in general, this become we have to sell that board. But if you put sports within a board, we don't have within the board level, then it just makes it very difficult for how you manage those things. So yes, SOE bill, yes, review, but on our side, putting competent people on the board as well.
Thank you, sir. We'll do the final round of questions. Let me see. Then we do wow. Okay, what do we do? Let me what do you want to log in 2 mics, yeah? So I point 6 people in. It's time for taking the question really quickly. Yeah, and I start in front of here. One, two, the two on two, and the dinner man the three, and then we'll go on a four, five to the man with the end, and then six to this man. Next time, six. I mean, that's a lot for today.
Mohammed Usman Bagura, Capital Times newspaper. Chief Minister, every year we get a lot of irregularities that the audit reports. We billions and billions of loans they lost according to the reports. And a lot of things say if the auditors can't do audits or auditing, you fail to present the documents required and mismanagement of public officer. And two, I want to know if qualitative and quantitative indicators delay for assess ministerial performance. If a name, how credible it will be. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Amos Marshall Taiwali, aka the microphone vandalist. And I want to say felicitation and happy new year, happy 2026. Mr. Minister, the two ministers, I know that explain many good things where this government achieved in 2025, but in as much as these good things are there are a little bit of irregularities will happen as well. One of them is that in health, we get to a point where we get rumors that doctors are going for strike, or I think was it for fear allowance. And we overlook that situation up to the point when that strike will happen. Doctors they sat at home. In education, we reach to a point, teachers they get them for strike for subsidy. We overlooked at it until the point when teachers strike. And during those process, handful of civil unions, if not all, they get the perception that government's response to those emergencies are one, unenergetic, two, unenthusiastic, and three, lackadaisical. I want to ask if we can learn any lessons from the issues today and how best or are there any mechanism that will put in place going forward in 2026 for prioritized prevention. If I can go the Latin adage, we say prevenire est malicious quam, where prevention is always better than cure. Thank you.
I'm going to charge you extra for the microphone. Go ahead.
Ibrahim Sarasisi. Chief Minister, you talk about various sectors, and let me take you to this. Looking at we don't get issues surrounding this state. How far the government don't they about to resolve that issue there? And also within the security sector, we don't see military officers and they fight themselves. Issue happening now. And another issue happening at Tonodi State. Just now, as I tell you, today we come on, we are in a police officer, fire a chief inside Konodi State. Yes, I'll give the side. So the security sector, how far on I get for manager, because that's it for these national issues we set not sit at this particular moment. Thank you.
Thank you, number 4.
Yes, Mina Bobodan Kamara, the head for the Citizen newspaper. CMO for going back to the 2024 audit report. Generally, financial losses we talk about 250 million euros. Foreign currency, $935,000, something like that. But we'll look at from a holistic point of view, the cause of F1, those workers, payment without supporting documents and double payment. So whether it should be actually happen, I will actually argue because audit out, now then say done. You mentioned the Tomorrow Rise project. you dey close to the information minister and provide misinformation that will produce the factual information. So if you get factual information, you pay for users, but you know say na deliberate attempt. You be able to tell me for the past 12 months how many hectares of land na Tobago una harvest. Then the last one, the tripartite committee, the recommendations there. We know say una don differentiate them. One will go parliament and one will get clauses of the HPC law. You don't think to see the office of the Attorney General forget upon education. You are going to tell people everything are the clauses there, what they stand for, and what they propose for. Because you know, when referendum, you not educate the populace and expect them to make
Your referendum not till tomorrow.
no, I'm not saying we'll have time for that.
We will have more than sufficient time. In fact, we launch a website specifically on that. We only can do engagements. Last week, EG and me spent the weekend at McKinney. We talked to women's group. We therefore once we won't finalize that, particularly we therefore will hold this force across this country, not just we, but with the opposition and everybody else. So you're right on that, but you will beat God. You will put the cat before the horse. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, colleagues out there. And really, like this alone, because I understand, say, okay, sorry, me and Mami Jello, reporter for police. Yeah, quick clarification. Now, rules inside Parliament. Of course, recently, I have several things to up. You see, number, okay, okay, the Goliath. The Goliath. So, the main areas now, granites, Libya and Bukisu. This one, clarification, yeah.
They are local for Nigeria, so we will explore. Minister, we can't tell. Yes. We will catch the minister. We know about the question. Yes. Go ahead, sir. That's under my microphone.
Good afternoon. I'm Nina Japan, students from Radio Democracy. Chief Minister, if they make comparison between past government and this government when it comes to infrastructure. If we come to water in particular, way I believe everybody knows to say the country will not lack that one day. In any kind we want to look at different kinds of water we get. Before this time, citizens only think normal water, where in the way Guma another one they provide. But now it hardly. So take me to what's the government's plan for issues of water, particularly for the area and also the
Thank you very much. All right. I think we get who are the next. I'm going to be the next, and they'll leave them there. Let's go ahead.
Here in the Jackson report for CPA. Mr. Chief Minister, I want to take you back to the tripartite recommendation. I don't know how much the AG don't do a dialogue and mix with the political party with regards this recommendation also before they take a parliament next year. The reason why I make ask is there are some recommendations where some political parties may not in favor of the recommendation a day. One of the recommendations where they kick against and what we're going to do is the or choose or select the chief commissioner for ECA. According to the recommendation, and they take that out of the political party, then choose all like the bar association and other civil society organization, or choose the chief electoral commission for ECNC. And according to the meeting, when the AG will always the interpolitical party dialogue committee, then they kick against that, saying that and politics need for deal with politicians, not out of the politicians. Another recommendation get for do with the one we get for do with the one we get for do the 50% plus for the president, when some political party they go against that. And even the APC, the press conference for say some of the recommendations them where they want to take in parliament, some of them they know they in favor of them and they need for doing a meeting of that.
All right, thank you very much. Now we get the final question. Mr. Pro, to respond.
Yes, Afan Solo Obokari, from the newspaper. Chief Minister, as at this date, we still get MDAs and we lack updated website. And of course, citizens, journalists, and researchers they find it difficult to access information online. So, what's in government intend for do for erase that difficulty for citizens, journalists, and researchers? Then also, you talk about roads. I know you mentioned about the Kono Tongo road. Any plans for that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first question on website actually may say good morning. But I'll come to the minister. Minister, you do I respond to Limbaya Dogolea Road beside the home tap and all that? Thank you very much. Yeah.
First thing, they clear the road resistance. From there, they grade the gutters then. From there, they put the stone. From there, they put the so the process are not an event. They don't pass the road. Clear on that. Now, number two, the first 10 kilometers, not for Kabbalah to the Bunya, about 10 kilometers government and the company. So before you talk, go first and know what it is. The second tranche, another 10 kilometers from the Bunya to the Maya, where they get from now. Now, the chief minister said the next target is for you to sign. If money they will boom, boom, boom. The work is in progress. So don't judge an activity as an event. Judge them as a process. So when they talk, not talk because you want for many of those day. Talk because for them to explain for them people they understand. Because if people they don't understand, they will say the work don't stop, inside then they don't need. The road don't, from Alicam, my friend, from Dogodia to Musaya, my bridge ended between them. From Dogodia to the Musaya junction, my bridge ended between them. They don't pass Musaya junction. Yeah, so they'll be clear on it. From Dogodia,
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister. All right, so the chief minister will respond to the rest of the question now. Yeah.
Thank you. And
All
also, His Excellency, the plan to move Calabar this dry season. I hope say you get it. Go, they go. Join me on the trip. The road will not reach this highway, you will feel. On audits, I don't know. I think maybe like task formulation. I think you need for all the auditor general, they can explain properly because it's difficult for we explain. So maybe like
Very, very important. I take it as a very important civic duty. In the next couple of weeks, we bring the auditor general and the team. We can break down the audit process, findings, and all. Thank you for that, sir. We will deliver on it, sir. Yes.
standing at the future. Yes, sir. Thank you. On the points that are qualitative and quantitative in the performance tracking, actually, some things are qualitative. So if we did mention cabinet conclusion implementation, sometimes the number of cabinet conclude. So take cabinet, we track number of cabinet papers submitted and approved. and not quantitative. Status of implementation are qualitative. They ask you for ask you. If you say you cabinet paper and a policy, or ask you say, well, what's the policy? They say, well, you need to know officers, we don't do consultation, we don't do ABC. So it's a mix of that, but on the quantitative side as well, we not just they say senior management meeting, number of senior management meetings, so they look through and check the minutes to see what happening. So all of the activities of governance and monitoring and evaluation are mixed methods, both quantitative and qualitative. And this is something that the Auditor General now is doing, not just the numbers, because you can put here 2 billion missing, but it doesn't really tell you much. The qualitative element is to read it. And you can make all these reports, I don't know how they call them. They get the initial findings, they get the response from government, then they get the final thing, recommendations as well. So we evaluate Latin. I mean, I think you're not going to look me up here and call me on energetic. It's the last thing you will do. And I think sometimes it's easy being on the outside and criticizing government. No government don't want to teacher and strike. No government don't want to doctor and strike. But if you understand how doctor feel system they happen, you know, say the Ministry of Health get for rights request to Ministry of Finance, and it goes through the processes of Ministry of Finance. The Ministry of Finance pay to Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Health give them money then. Maybe the doctor then can say, well, maybe put up salary as an example. The other one they say, no, maybe put up our salary. It's just different ways in which the distribution is done. This morning, in terms of how to prevent time, one of the meetings I had this morning is with the Minister of Higher Education and Basic Education and the team, and the team this morning. I had a meeting with the Ministry of Finance and Ministries of Education on how they will prioritize the payments then so that subsidy will come out in time, so that school feeding will come out in time. One of the things that we are looking at is how we can schedule payments based on the calendar of events. The first thing they make road, then you go pay inside June, that way it's time level because rain can. You will pay inside November, December, so you can mobilize January, February, March, every May, it would only Boku Road for 5 months. So how do we finance government in a way that allows for activities to be aligned with the season? We're not getting technology that would make a big road entire the season. And the kind of rain, the only kind also the same as snow or other side. So we need to rethink how we do governance delivery and that we own. So we did essentially try to mitigate things in the way of today we get our meeting there. The first thing we say, we ask the security question. When you go to OC yesterday? What time? 9. You said 9? You will say who you go to house? I ask this because sometimes it's easy to say, I feel insecure. You know that. Then woman, you that woman, when you go to house, you can feel unsafe. Not feeling, not so by me, you. I drive myself as chief minister at night. I mean the drive myself. The place now the drive myself. Other country in West Africa, you didn't get mine. Me, I live in Nairobi. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You didn't come out. Like come out, you didn't come out. You know they come out. So it is so easy for us to say these things that poorly reflect on us. For say, how you go say you feel unsafe? I come out, I go like be here. Now why we bodyguard now be here? Who say they come out? Now any sign out some country that you travel like West Border as chief minister. Now one bodyguard here. Impossible. No, really, impossible. How can you say you feel unsafe? Personally, we can want certain things without generalizing in a way that does not reflect the reality of our country. All December, we can someone on the streets and they sleep every day. Festival within every street. We every day go shoot people there. America, we every day we go shoot people there. Without any people. I say these things because what we need to do is for applaud and clap for the security sector for what they do this holiday and the level of safety. Traffic, somebody trader here that meets and they say traffic them in this December. Remember, traffic loading. When last we get December with traffic loading? So yes, we've had two incidences where people they take on the shoot forcing. But those are being investigated. There are thousands of people with guns every day. We cannot use that to define the state of our country. So please do not say Sierra Leone is not safe. In terms, again, back to, I think there was some other comments about audits and ghost workers and supporting documents. As I said, we will make it a priority to digitize and supporting and provide supporting documents for these things. The thing about tripartite in parliament and other political parties, there are three parts of governance that science middle and not do government. Parts of the college, that the government. But I mean, no and social studies say we get the executive, we get the legislature, and we get the judiciary. Your job as executive and for listening to Wuna the citizen, because we're all man for listening to Wuna. But we listen to Wuna. We consult the AG and we all, nobody know the way to say no hearing about tripartite in this country. And nobody know say the one day hearing that. We don't talk at tea, we don't get press conference the tea, we don't get retreat them. Nothing of it. Where we don't talk about tripartite. And the AG has done an amazing job with the Ministry of Information about engaging people. Every meeting, every opposition party, they don't sit down with the opposition party, then you're the tripartite. What we do as government is to listen to you, and we take that and we carry on to Parliament. And Parliament, now make it fine for who they vote. Next time, we'll all vote for SPP parliamentarian. Because when you go vote for parliamentarian, we don't need or we wait from that, that's the problem. Because then MP then that they want that passing, they need them. So next time, not to just SPP president to vote for the vote for majority, more bigger majority. Because it is the responsibility of us now as citizens, not to me, when I tell you, when I each for call on MP there. He asked you how many of them have the MP will come out now in a constituency, their name or district. If I say name two MP there in a district, you will have there. If I say name, take the number, how many MP the number you get? Is it online though? On their website. Or it should be there. They did it. If you go online, how many of the MP there, the one they call? This is an opportunity for us as citizens to say, and I agree with you, that my view is different as David said there, and as Chief Minister. My view as Chief Minister is to deliver what the people said they would do, and we gave it to them, and the AG implements that and near the Parliament. Now, me as David Moy Nasenge, and they call me MP there, Nabu and Pujon, tell them, say, now this is not what I'm vote for, because that's my job, that's my duty as a citizen. I encourage every Sierra Leonean to read that and call your MP, write a letter to your MP, and tell them, say, do you not vote for this, not vote for that, not vote for that. Because of anything that we don't read, but so that APC votes them, they will. Well, I know what's talking. So I will call the MP though. But it's in the hands of the parliament. There's nothing we can do now. It's out of our hands. We've done what we needed to do.
And parliament is bipartisan.
Yes.
And throughout the parliamentary process, the public also has an opportunity to influence that process, not just by calling, you can send position paper. So this notion say that we don't just engage, oh, I don't want to really think. And consultation, so no means that they listen to everything we say. If we get a 12 recommendation or we don't say we go this way, they say, oh no, we keep our for not keep our two. We keep disagree on that two, they will keep go before. We don't have to agree on everything 100%. We listen and engage. I think sometimes too, it will be reported like say, they don't say they don't want that one thing. So we don't discuss that. We don't engage. We don't get opportunity, we'll continue for pushback, back and forth, and then we find the common ground.
What again, it's how like I'm in with the strategic review committee. What that's something where His Excellency say, I know say Guma, they just put new tank up the SS camp, I don't know, place here. That's nice campaign. Then they just put new tank there and then they continue for the best. And I'll tell you that before the changes happened in Guma, I met with their MD and some private sector with a proposal. One of the things I'm mentioned water will do, and then launch a big water framework with World Bank. This was the first that they had. We continue to work on that across districts. One and a couple of them. Somabon, the minister say government plans 3,500 hectares. The yield is about 2.5 to 3.5 ton per hectare. And private sector has done another 2,000 hectares. Harvest they happen in real time.
We don't ask for that data, so we don't give you the way it's about data.
So 5,500 hectares of rice is being cultivated and harvested by government and private sector. And if you want to calculate how many baggers, use the metric of 2.5 to 3.4 ton per year. This is really important.
They don't give it more.
This is important because before, and this is an indicator we have, the yields are about 2.0, 1.9, 2.1, and they continue for growth. And we need there India, China, the yield are there 8, 9 ton per hectare. Updated website, thank you for answering that. Kono Tongo is, or Kono Tongo is on the priority list amongst the other roles. We have several roles.
Thank you very much, Minister. So yes, part of government's commitments will be announced at the last civic festival that the Ministry of Comms and the Ministry of Information get a partnership follow updates all government websites. Right now, you will notice that most of the MDs are on transition to gov.sl email. With the new announced the launch of gov.sl as a central platform for all government information system. And then within the process now, so the website for two things. One are the content, two, of course, the technical, the gateway, and all of that. So Ministry of Comms, DSTI, they don't provide that for every MD. We just be in the process of the transition. The ambition is that 2026 we will deliver on that question we asked. But if you check more and more ministries in transition to government websites, before we go Chief Minister of the State to form final message to the people of this country for 2026. What do you expect from the public intellectual that is the chief minister? What do you expect from the leader that is not something more in that segment? A lot of what to expect from government. But I think a lot of people like know you now one of the most accessible public official in us alone. You go in the comment section, you comment, you interact, you engage. There are other things as well about your life. You design, you sing, you rap.
dance your left and give me, where they dance, eat the ball, you get other aspects of you, other interesting things about your life. I just not go out in this exclusive press conference, not just start talk about what you expect from what do you expect from the person, from the man.
Thank you. I will put one thing this year.
Bola?
No.
Okay.
But I get plenty of people around collaborate. Maybe it will be Trees Week, maybe it will be Craft Weeks, maybe it will I Tribe. Yeah, plenty of people that we collaborate with this year. Me, Idris, and this is the one thing to talk this year. But definitely some more music, personally. But I think the most important thing, and I say this yesterday, a lot of people expect the chief minister or prime minister or somebody waiting at the level not for this certain. Like yesterday, I made a one group in Bongali. And I've shared this. There's a guy, he worked for me in the Ministry of Education, I'm an employee. He would tell me what I do. I go like in PV and say, if you look up here, all the chiefs up here different from what you join this like that group. Why? You come back now the PV and say, you mad cow. I mean, this is the person who work at government. The person will work for me in education. The person will they call the chief minister mad cow because I engage with her in a group. So I sit down and reflect on her, and then people can say, for the engagement, people they believe can be level down to it. And I always can say, if I left that guy, that group, then that Bombali, we work for government, what they call the chief minister mad cow because he tell us say they need to be honest and be accountable. Then I decide say well the commodity group said and they comment again and the commodity now because of the engagement people then they win. They win. Our job as leaders is to listen to you and for take that feedback. If I'm getting an idea, my CDO, if it calls me back, how me and whoever meets, for service, me really that group. But my job is to serve. My job is to be a leader where they listen to that guy, even if he called me mad cow. And I tell her, the last thing I tell her, I say, you regret this one day. They say, oh, you threatened me. And the regret is just that. And I don't see this happen plenty of times. You get come back to me and go, I'm so sorry, sir. Forgive me. My mind, papa, and I will come back. They will come bring me back. Charlie go and acting in that instant. But again, of course, I realize the more I make myself available, the more they cost me. I might papa and sorry for because they can cost the time and they don't.
I say Uncle Paul there, so you don't lose,
not to,
I give it the
not to, they know that just because they don't go for mistake, so I'm sorry for them. But for me, this year and moving forward, I will engage more with the people. I will go closer to the people. I will listen to the people more. I will respond to the people more because that's what we need. That model of leadership has been missing. I can drive. Me win that they don't. People they say, why you put you win that down? But then where they drive, now boss out. See they say where they can't, but he will deliver. That guy winning that boss out, just having me wait see me win that, wait till they say that we will deliver. They make a gladdy. Because it not say chief minister will deliver. He said we will deliver for Sierra Leone. So that boss out guy, that might be winning that Pademba room, that then people they really see me. That accessibility they will continue. 2026 will be more access, will be more engagement, will be more responsible. And I hope say, damn brother, we caused me mad cow yesterday. I hope say when you sleep on it, reflect on them, and you understand say maybe it wasn't right I did this. Forget that it's chief minister. But you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. But you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you shouldn't do that to any human because you disagree. And you should we as leaders must not cede the space to people who are full of hate and who are full of conflict and full of all of that. So I'll do more, even though the normal feedback and politician they will say you don't do that because when you do that, now you listen to now you bring candidates to you. And I think radical inclusion means that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, we will account for you and you will reach your full potential. I will keep amplifying radical inclusion because it is an explicit request in the National Development Plan to promote the implementation of radical inclusion. I really am super grateful and blessed that we're here, and I'll continue to serve to the best of my potential and best of my ability so that together we will deliver a more just and inclusive, great country.
Thank you very much, the Country Chief Minister. In summary, we will continue to deliver the year of action. It's a pleasure and a privilege always to talk to you, but more than talking to you, to see the amount of passion and heart and hard work we put into doing your job. I think even the people that were your harshest critic, they not will rule out one fundamental fact. You now somebody really put your heart into the work. Until we meet again next week, thank you to all the partners. We journalists participated every day around the week carrying live from across the continent. We sign language partner from VSO and the team at the Ministry of Information and Civic Education. Until next week, we will continue the normal panel weekly press engagements. Assalamu alaikum. Now we invite the Chief Minister and the other minister already here for coming at this role here. Mr. CM, yesterday we did the memorial award for journalists and media practitioners that will be died. So we get the privilege now to ask you for counsel this and it's not being so we talk to say the same. Madam Minister, please come. I see the PRO of the party, Mr. Mambuse here. So when we come in, so the CM will do a signing for journalists and media professionals that we lost during the civil war. Thank you, CM. Minister Mopata, Mr. Martin.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Daddy. Thank you.